All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kadash. We say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kadash. So we say bless the Most High and the Son. And we give double honors to our apostle elders, which are the apostle elders, the great millstone, which rule well, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit of power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi. We're in the year 2021, which is hastening the coming of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi. Prophecies are taking place, things are happening. The mark is coming. All right, the mark of the beast is coming, and it's set to show itself in the fullness in our faces, man. All right, so we've been prepared for this. We've been educated for this. So this is the time that the Lord promised would come. This lesson, I want to touch base on the importance of his death, and whose death is that? Is Yahawashi's death. All right, the importance of his sacrifice. Okay, I mean, I'll put something in there with unleavened, but the main subject is going to be the importance of Yahawashi's sacrifice. And how I got to this lesson, I was looking up on Gethsemane, you know, because the apostle has went into the word Gethsemane before, and I just had it in my mind, so I was looking on Gethsemane, trying to find, you know, to show that the Lord was in stress, you know. He wasn't in a happy, playful mood, because we already see what guys are doing. They're at clubs and different things like that. You know, brothers already touched on it, man, because you can't be happy in these times, man. All right, we're happy that we have the truth, but this time is to remember Yahawashi's sacrifice. I know I'm probably spelling that right. Hold on. I'm spelling that wrong. I'm typing one hand. Hold on. Okay. So the Garden of Gethsemane, because the apostles, they spent a lot of time in the Garden of Gethsemane, okay? And they say that some of the trees in this garden are about almost 800, 900 years old. These are some of the oldest some of the oldest olives in the known world are in the Garden of Gethsemane, okay? But the main thing I was looking at, because the Garden of Gethsemane, if you look at it, it means oil press, okay? It means oil press. So let's prove that, you know, and that this is what was taught to us and was given to us by apostles and elders, man. That's how having this truth and being taught in that way, you know, to see, because then you start seeing what's taking place, and you can start putting yourself there. You know, this is where Yahawashi was taken. You know, the Roman soldiers came and got him. He used spiritual power, but it wasn't time, man. It wasn't time. So the Lord even told Peter, he says, "He that live by the sword shall die by it." All right, so it wasn't time yet. So that's what you see, but the time is now. The time that we come into is the time and now. What Yahawashi say? If this is my kingdom, my servants will fight. All right, so there's a time where the Lord's going to give us that power, and we're going to be able to fight, and we're going to do it to defend ourselves, man. You know, because we ain't going through no buck breaking. We're not going through what took place in slavery anymore. That was behind us, man. You know, there's a few things the Lord allowed Esau to do, but at the end of the day, he's being consolidated, man. Okay? He's being consolidated. It's time. This is the word for Gethsemane. It means what? Oil press. And who was the pressed oil? Was Yahawashi. He was that oil. Okay? He was being pressured. All right? The father was he was putting that the father had him in that position where it got stressful. It got hard, man. Okay? Says that his sweat was like the drops of blood, and you can have that. Men can bleed from you can sweat blood. You can sweat blood. That's why stress will kill you, man. All right, stress can kill you. So the best thing in this truth, that's why it says you worry about the present. You study the precepts, you catch a hell, and don't, because depression does things to you, man. It affects your body. All right, they got Esau has a name for it. Hematosis is sweating blood, real, yeah. It says, what is hematosis? Salaki, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is an extreme rare condition in which you sweat blood. It's also known as hematohidrosis and hemidrosis. It's so rare that many people don't know it exists or if it's real, but sweating blood has been seen throughout history. The Bible mentions Yahawashi sweating blood while praying before the crucifixion. Leonardo da Vinci wrote about soldiers sweating blood before battle. See, because that's stress, man. Because knowing death is coming, man. You sweat. Some people die from their thoughts, thinking that, somebody cursed somebody. There's been situations where somebody was cursed and they died on the just thinking about the curse that was put on them. They were gonna die on that day, and they ended up going on that day. So things can affect you, but the main thing when Yahushua's sacrifice was very important. It was very, very important. And I was going into the Garden of Gethsemane, like I said, and it brought me to this page. All right, this is one of these Christian pages, and I started reading through it, but a part stuck out to me, and this part is right here, and I'm gonna read it to you. All right, I'm gonna start right here. Like I said, you got to pick out the bones. All right, these are Christian church, but the point that they hit, I started looking into it and got some precepts. It was on point, man. All right, it's under Passover lamb or Feast of Unleavened Bread, which we're in now. Which I had to, look into it, but this is a very important part because the Lord made us leave out of Egypt without the leaven for a reason. If it was up to Jake, they would have took it, but men's goings of the Lord. So the Lord put the Spirit on them to forget the leaven, to representation of what was to come. And this is the passage. It says, "For first, wheat seeds must die." Okay, wheat must die in order to bring forth crops. So Yahawashi was that crop, that seed that passed away. Okay, that gave himself for the crop to be put forth. And you see it now. The crops is the elect. The crops is the first fruits. All right. That's why Yahawashi is coming to harvest the seed that he planted. All right. He's the husbandman. He planted the seed in the earth, which is this truth, knowledge, and wisdom, and the seed of what? Israelites. The Israel of the Most High. And it actually his seed, because you got to think, David. All right, you got to think he comes from that line of David. So King David's line, his seed, is going to be established, okay? It says, first, wheat seeds must die in order to bring forth crops. Similar, Yahawashi had to die and be buried in order to accomplish his ministry and to be raised to a new life. Second, unleavened bread was made without yeast because yeast represents sin, all right? And we can get that. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7 is that in the same way Yahawashi the Lamb is without sin. Yahawashi the Lamb of the Most High was sinless. So when he rose back up, he was sinless. He was that unleavened bread, man. He was that unleavened bread. He was that bread that was without leaven, without any additives. That's where you get the first Adam. You know what? Which I have those. So let's jump right into the precepts, and we're gonna go through them. I'll break them down here and there. I'll break them down as the Spirit allows. But let's go to John. Oh no, let's go to 1 Corinthians. What was that? 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. Let's get this John first. Let's get John first. Because then that'll sort of close out the lesson. So I'm going to back up the sacrifice. This is John 12 and verse 24. It says, there's no sacrifice, there is no cleansing. Okay, this is John 12 and 21. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. See, that means if Yahawashi did not give himself for that sacrifice, he would abide alone because he would have been that worthy. He still would have been that, he would have received that kingdom. But it says what? It says it abideth alone. Okay? But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. So it won't be alone. What's the fruit? That's the elect. That's the 144,000 and 1/3. That's Yahawashi's fruit. That's his fruit. That's why the Lord said he wants usury. And how did his fruit increase? By the man that went out there and he bid a penny. He sent laborers into the vineyard, man. All right, because the men you see on the four corners of the planet Earth is the fulfillment of the request of Yahawashi. He said he's going to pray to the Father of the harvest that he send laborers into his vineyard, man. Okay, so that was fulfilled. It says, "He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto eternal life." So that's what you see. Yahawashi hated his life, but he kept it unto eternal life because he put that sacrifice. Let me go up. "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit." And that's what Yahawashi did. That sacrifice, with him going being that grain, all right, the first fruits of us, he went into the ground and he came up and he came back. He went to death. He gave himself and he was rose up again and he brought forth fruit because he planted the seed. That's why he taught the disciples, which became apostles, the breakdowns. He went into the deep understandings and sent them out. He gave them the reins, man. He said, "I give you power to tread on serpents." All right, and he gave us that power back then, and Lord willing, we be a part of that number he gave us today. All right, Romans 14:9. For this it says for to this end Yahawashi both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living. Because how was he the Lord of the dead? Because when he was Adam, all right, he was Adam because he was the first. He fell from him. We fell. It says what? Through woman we all died, man. Okay, through what the woman did, we all died. All right, and Adam died also. That's what the Lord said. You shall die this day. All right, but then he was the firstborn of the living. Now he's the firstborn of the what? Of dead. He's the first one that was raised from the dead. Let me get that. I'll pull it up right here. And that's what we in the time of, man, and seeing the Lord is giving glory to this truth, man. He's giving big glory. This is 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 20. And it says, "But now is Yahawashi risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept." See? So that's how he became the first fruits of the living. The first king. He's the king of the living and he was the king of the dead, man. All right. It says, but why does now? Oh, that's it on that. So let's jump to Psalms. Get that quick precept. This is Psalm 72 and verse 16. This is Psalm 72 and verse 16. It says, "There shall be a handful of corn in the earth." It says, "Upon the top of the mountains." That's where you get, Yahawashi said he's going to take the crowns of these kings and he's going to establish Jerusalem on the top of the mountains. Okay, Israel is going to be the top rulership on the planet Earth. It says, "There shall be a handful of corn in the earth upon the top of the mountains. The fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and they of the city shall flourish like grass of the earth." And what's another name for wheat? Wheat is in the grass family. Okay, that's what you see. So that seed, that sacrifice, what Yahawashi did is gonna bring forth what? Much fruit. That's why you said that it's gonna what? It's gonna bring forth that flourish with grass, man. That's why it says we're gonna overrun the Jerusalem itself, man. Ephraim alone. That's what Ephraim blessing. It says it goes over the walls. So we're in a time where that blessing is going to be established, where one of us will become a nation. A small one of us is going to become a mighty nation, man. This is the book of Isaiah 53 and verse 10. Isaiah 53 and 10. "Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him." Why? The Lord had to put the seed, because the Most High is the ultimate husbandman. He's the ultimate planter and maker, man. It says, "Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin." See, so he's that seed. "He shall see his sin." Let me read that again, man. "Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquity. That's what Yahawashi, hey, that's another sit down. Yahawashi is the justification of many, man. He's the reason we have the kingdom. He's justifying us to the Father, man. What does the word justify mean? Let's go. All right, the word there for justify is shadak. 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 And it says what? To be just, be righteous, have a just cause, to be in the right, be justified of the Most High, to be just, to be righteous, and to put made right. Put or made, he made it right. He made it right with the Most High, because that goes back to what? Adam. That's when we went off and went against the Most High, so we made it right with the Father. Now he's going to be the first fruits of the what? The living. So that's what we're going to do. We're dead now. That's why we're in the valley of the dry bones. All right, this word livelied us, and it made us what? Lively stones. All right, so now that when the Lord gives us those new bodies, we're going to be alive for real. We're going to live, man. You know, that's what we hope for. We're going to live in the time to come. This is Hebrews 2 and verse 9. And it reads, but we see Yahawashi, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of Yahweh should taste death for every man. See that? So he paid the cost to be the boss, man. He paid the cost to be the boss. That's what you see taking place. All right, so let's go ahead and get this. 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 7. 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 7. And it says, purge out therefore old leaven, that ye may be a new lump. See? Let's go to 6. Your glory is not, it says your glorying is not good. Know ye not that little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? That's what should go to Alazar in the Sicaria. That little leaven leaveneth the whole lump, man. Because people are looking towards this truth, and they knowing that it's hitting right now. They know the words is coming to pass, and then for you to do such a thing when the words of the Lord is coming to pass, you offended the unbelievers, man. That's sad when you offend unbelievers, because they know that this truth is legit. They just don't know how to come about bucking down, or but they follow it. Some of them follow it secretly, secret disciples, man. So you doing that, you upsetted the secret disciples, but you upsetted people, man. Upset people. All right. But the main thing now is to get that leaven out of us, man. All right. We're in the time of purging that out. This is when Yahawashi came and he rose up again. He was purged that leaven, man. He went and did the sacrifice for the Father. He was good. He made it right. He justified it. He justified himself and he justified us, man. All right. It says, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump. That's what we're going to become, is a new lump. That's a new bodies. When we get the changing of a twinkling of an eye, we're going to become a new lump. All right. As ye are, it says, as ye are unleavened, for in Mashiach our Passover is sacrificed for us. So he came and he put himself on that cross, and then he rose up perfect. All right. Therefore, let us keep the feast. He was perfect before when he gave himself, but he gave himself for his past sins. Therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, sin. That's what they celebrated the feast with old leaven, man. You can try to justify what you want, but that was old leaven in that gathering, if you want to call it. It says, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So that's what we have, man. And that's what we need to strive for. This time of unleavened is to purge that out and to get us right for the Father, man, and His Son. All right, let me jump to the next precept. This is we'll end it on this one. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 45, and it reads, and so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul. See? A living soul. And the last Adam was made a quickening spirit. The first Adam was came and he fell. Okay? He fell. That's why the Lord told him, this day you shall die. But then he came back as Yahawashi, and he became what? The first living of, he became what? The king of the living, man. All right? That's why all knees will bow unto Yahawashi. That's what we waiting on. Howbeit that was not the first. It says, howbeit that was not first, which is spiritual, but which is natural, and afterwards that which is spiritual. So all this natural stuff must come because the spirit world is next, or the spiritual is next. The kingdom is next. The kingdom is not just going to be a kingdom, it's going to be a spiritual kingdom. That's why we're going to have chariots that are going to be flying. We're going to have different things that's going to be mixed with what you call reality, man. Okay? The Lord is going to find that. That's why it says there's going to be no temple, because he's going to dwell with us, man. All right? It says, as is the earthly, such are they also that are earthly. And as in the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. All right, so we getting ready to be beautified, man. So Lord willing, this is edifying, and like it says again, the importance of Yahawashi's sacrifice, the importance of his death. Okay, and he gave himself to be that sacrifice without spot, man, for our sins. So with that, I'm gonna give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Kwafadash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahawashi, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahawashi, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Kwafadash. Shalom, I should keep faith, keep fighting, keep pushing.